they sent a book to us, like a help book, because I guess they said, oh, it didn't come with it, and we're like, no. So I guess some people had this book that like has like hieroglyphic translators in it, and some people didn't have that book. But so it's like if you bought the version of the game that didn't have that book, this game would literally be impossible. I think it was King Quest 5 or something.
If it came without that book, get ready to just develop a complex about your intelligence for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I mean that sometimes. To that same note, I remember getting my hands on an NES. This is later, a used NES, and one of the games I got was Faxanadu or Fazanadu, however the hell you pronounce it.
I know about
and and there's a moment in that game where it's like, okay, input the code, and I'm like, what code? And I looked it up online, and it's like, oh yeah, the instruction manual came with a code that you would have to put into this, and that's how you would, get past this. And I'm like, I bought this used out of a pawn shop. There's no instruction manual. And the answer was, oh, you're screwed. Like, congratulations. Like, nope, sorry. Like, this, and I guess it was at least partially maybe unique to each game. I didn't look that deeply into it, but each copy of the game. But I was just like, yeah, okay, well, I guess that's just some money I threw away. Fantastic, love that. Yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of those old school games, and a lot of them, we had the expectation of not beating them, even as kids. Like, you would just put it on, and games were simpler, easier to jump into.
I just wanted to see. It was a lot of times just like I just want to see what the hype is. And there wasn't no that, like, I don't know. Do kids make fun of other kids for not beating Dark Souls nowadays? Like, probably. Get good. Get good.
Oh, actually, now you said those magic words. Actually, yes, they do.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. I see it all the time online, but online is full of people that are
It's just funny. That's why I think games are harder back in the day, because there was that camaraderie of like, oh yeah, I can't beat that game either. Like, it's like, oh yeah, that.
I just saw this meme that expressed that, where it's like gamers back in the day. Or like gamers back in the day. If you can't beat this guy, go down to this area and find this weapon, and it makes that boss fight a total cakewalk. And it's like some dude with like a backwards hat, some sunglasses, and then compared to like gamers today, what? You're telling me you use the items that the developer gave you to use in the game to beat it? You didn't beat the game. And it's just
right.
Back then, what is considered cheating now was just correctly beating the game now.
Absolutely. And here's a prime example of this. I remember this specifically. Elementary school. There was this little like after school club, because my dad worked late. I would say that it was just after school. It'd be like some things there. But no, actually, this was during lunch. I think this was during lunch. I knew these two dudes, the Wesley brothers, right? Slightly older guy and a younger guy. And we were in elementary school, and Turok had come out, right? Original OG. And I remember the older brother. Like we go to lunch or at different classes, and he's like, "Yo, Nathan, come over here, come over to our table." And so I'm like, "Okay." I sit at the table. And he's like, "Yo, dude, I just heard about these codes in Turok that, like, give you, like, the Chronomancer, dude. Have you heard of that?" And I was like, what? He's like, dude, he's like, now I'm gonna need you to write down this code, okay? And in case I lose it, I'm gonna call you at your house, because we have a freaking landline, right? I'm gonna call you at your house, and you're gonna, like, give me the code in case I, like, lose it, right? And I need you to write it down twice. Keep one in your pocket and the other one here at school, just in case you lose the one at home. We can still get the one at your desk in your home. Like, it was ridiculous, right? And the funny thing is, I was like, yeah, I've played Turok. Like, that game's hard as hell, you know? Like yeah, dude, like this is awesome. He also gave like some other codes for like big head mode and I don't know, some other stupid stuff. And I remember that being a thing. Like the discovery, like this man treated it like a damn pirate treated, you know, their booty, their treasure that they were gonna bury and tell their crew, you know, here's the map and, you know, if something happens to me, then go and get it, you know, on this crazy island
Something
somewhere.
happens.
Like, yeah, because, and we didn't look down on that. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever heard of. You know, like there's codes now, and you can put in the games. Like this is nuts, right? Like it was a thing. You know, it was a thing. The game was tough as hell. There was no, oh, you didn't beat the game because you know you used the code. It was like, dude, you used the code. Did you beat it? Oh, dude, that's awesome. You know?
Like the current re-release of Hexen,
Oh.
it's giving me this weird, like I had a little bit of Mandela effect with that game, because it's just like, Hexen came out, I was like, oh yeah, Hexen, I love Hexen, I played Hexen as a kid all the time, I had great memories of the entire game,
Yep.
and like, I'm looking at it more, and like, I watched like, specifically, I think it was a City 11 video, I think it was before the re-release, but I watched this video and the more I watched through the video and as he's explaining the challenges and stuff, it was just like, oh yeah, I think I would just clear out every room and then use the next level code. I didn't do any fucking switch.
Yeah, right.
It's like eventually you hit the enemies that just keep respawning and it's like, okay, they just keep respawning. I'm gonna go fight the boss now. Boss code.xmc or whatever.
right. Yeah. You know, and I mean, back then it felt like I've outsmarted the game. It wasn't like, oh, I'm a cheater and you know I didn't do this legitimately. I remember there was this was a game on a web browser, and I forget the name of it. I have some old screenshots. These are from like 2007, 2008 maybe. On an old hard drive, and I could look it up, but I'm not gonna waste my time. But it was some browser game where it had over 100 levels. You know these old stupid like Chips Challenge type games.
Yeah.
Where there's just a million levels for no reason. You know.
And I don't think I ever got to the end of Chips Challenge. By the way, I got really far.
Dude,
you just
that game has so many levels. Wow. And they get so hard. But in this browser game, you're like supposed to, I don't know, fling this hedgehog through like these obstacles and whatnot. And I remember specifically, I like found a way to completely cheese the game. There was something that you could do with your mouse, which is how you played the game, where it was like, oh, now I have complete control over right? And, like over the movement of the game.
What game is this?
Angry Birds. I can't remember.
Oh man,
I'd have to look it up.
This is yeah.
Right.
This
it was some shit like that, right?
This does sound like a Flash game.
Oh, it is. Oh, 100% it is.
Alright. Of Dormammu smashing your little world between his fingers.
Finger snaps.
Yes. And I mean, I remember going like when I figured that out, I was like, oh, this game's gonna be a cakewalk. I'm gonna beat this in 10 minutes. 3 hours later, I'm on level 176. When does the game end? Jesus Christ! Like, I'm doing things where I'm like, is this even possible without this bullshit cheat hack that I found? Like, I'm pretty sure it isn't, you know. And the game just went on and on and on and on and on. And finally, I got to the end, and I was like, oh, thank God! Please bestow upon me my reward. And it's just like, and I mean, this game is like, you know, just it's basically a sketch game. That's what the graphics are. They're just like line art, if you could even call it that. And it's just like the hedgehog standing around at the end, and it just says the end. And I was like, thank you, Daddy. I appreciate it. And Like, you don't get a cutscene, you don't get a nothing. Thank you for playing our game. And that was the end. And I was like, yeah. You know, it's just like, oh, there it is. The ending. If I got the ending now, I'd be pissed, you know? There's no cutscene, I don't get like a resolution to anything, like what? You know?
Just sweet release.
That's it. Like, oh, it's finally over. The war has ended. You know? Man. It's wild, man. It's wild. I don't know. Gaming is gone.
That was a thing during a certain point, right? Because I remember. Didn't like the last Dragon Quest that came out on the PS1 was like over 100 hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
299 levels.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like how many levels did like Descent have? Is that
a lot?
Ooh.
Yeah, a lot.
Enough.
It was a lot. Yeah,
enough.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, no, that was a thing at the time, and
you're welcome.
One of the things I've liked to do is go back and see how to beat some of the old games I ran into, and this is a fun one. And this is one of those things where it's like, did anyone ever actually figure this out? You know, this is one of those things where it's like, I didn't even know that this was what the game wanted you to do. Because it has nothing to do with the gameplay, the bosses, the story, nothing. But this is how you beat it. Okay. And what this game was, this was the old, not Heroes of Might and Magic. That came later. This was Might and Magic 3. Okay, way back on, you know, was it Genesis or Super Nintendo I was playing this crap on. And first off, the game is hard as hell. You know. And I found a cheese way to enter the elemental plane of air and like instantly kill a bunch of air elementals that were like 10 times my level, and I got a bunch of garbage for that. I cheated at the game basically. I like figured out a way to do that, like cheese the game. But apparently, like, I guess you can go through, beat the game, go through all these dungeons, do all this crazy stuff. But the way to actually win at the game is spread around the world. There were like these random letters that you have to collect, and they don't tell you anything about them. I ran into one or two. They don't tell you anything about them. They don't tell you what they do. They don't say anything. It's just like an item that you just get. And apparently you have to put all those letters together into a very specific sentence and like enter it into like some random part of the world that asks you for an input, and that's how you beat the game. And I'm like, how would anyone know this? How could anyone possibly deduce that this is how the game was beaten? There's nothing in the game to tell you anything about this. By the way, that's like the secret ending of Myst, where you have to open a very specific book in that first library and go to page 151, and on there is some bullshit, and you have to go to...
It makes no sense.
That? How would you know that?
You wouldn't. That's why when people like, "Oh, you figured out with the strategy guide," I'm like, "You're lying. You're just lying to me. We can't be friends."
Yeah, exactly. Like the ending where you kill both brothers, the quote unquote real true ending of the game is like, okay, man. Like there's no one ever figured this out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no one ever figured this out.
I
another. How many people actually?
It's right. Yeah.
Full on, no big brother, no guy, no.
Yeah.
Full on sight unseen. Just I did it, and then I did it.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be way lower than the amount of people that beat games nowadays, right? because a lot of those games you didn't even know what the win condition was half the time, or where it was, or when it would happen. You know?
Yeah.
They didn't want you to beat.
Well,
right.
beating games nowadays is like there's so many other games. Like if a game's kicking your ass, usually most people are just like, I'm just gonna move on to something else. Like I've got a million other games in my Steam library. You know, that's all we had. That's all we had. We had to at least try. We'd entertain ourselves.
Yeah, nah, I mean, I remember one time, you know, I went out with my dad and we were going shopping, right? And we stopped by the, this was in Fredericksburg. Back then, the mall had a Babbage's and we stopped by there. And I don't know, I got this game for the N64, some shmup, because I like shmups, you know, I like Battle Squadron on the Genesis. By the way, that game is insane. And I got this, my dad bought this game for me, and, you know, I go home immediately, I put it into the N64, I'm playing it, I beat it in about 4 hours, right? And I was like, oh, hey, Dad, you know, I just beat the game. He's like, you beat the game already? He was like, I just spent a bunch of money on that. What do you mean you just beat the game? And I was like, well, yeah, I just beat it. He's like, that was only like 3 or 4 hours. I was like, well, you know. He was like, that wasn't worth the money at all. I was like, well, damn, Dad, tell me how you really feel about, you know, just giving me a game to keep me busy. You know, get your money's worth of hours of me, you know, of me being out of your, you know, your bald head. I can't say hair because he was, you know, he had shaved himself bald at the time. But
so beat it again, son.
Yeah. I mean, he literally asked me, did you get all the hidden levels and stuff? He literally asked me that. And I was like, well, it's a shmup. I don't think there are any. And he was like, well, okay, you know, well, that's the only game you're getting for a while, so go ahead and play it again. And I was like, all right, Dad.
It's a shmup. They're like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's a shmup. You know, I like, I can't remember the name of the game, for God's sake. You know, it was something so forgettable. It was some generic, just, you know, random shmup. But that stuck out to me where it was like, yeah, sometimes games are super short. Sometimes they're, you know, 150 hours. Mm-hmm. You didn't know until you bought the game. There was no, hey, let me just go on YouTube and, you know, watch a walkthrough or an IGN review of this game, you know, that could break it down for you. Just like, no.
On the flip side, like, designers didn't have concepts like replay value and stuff. Like, just made a thing.
Yeah.
I had fun slapping together some code, and this came out.
Hello.
Yeah.
What brings you here?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Goodbye. You know? And that's kind of the way it was. And so much of that stuff back then was also just like crappier ports of arcade games that were supposed to eat your quarters, you know? I mean, like, that was the point, was they were supposed to be hard as hell so that you would continue purchasing, you know, more continues, more lives to continue the game. And a lot of those ports just came over and it was just like, well, brother, you're gonna need 60 lives and we only gave you 3 before you get a game over, so, you know, this is it. You know, the Konami code ain't gonna help you on this one, bro. You know. So.
Remember, what's the last game that you played? And I wouldn't be able to answer this question, so it's just kind of rhetorical. But it's like, what's the last game you played from the time that the game still had scores, but no one knew why? Not even the
Ooh, dang. That's really good question.
There's a lot of arcade games like that.
Yeah.
A lot of fighting games that have scores that there's literally books made for this until people just realize that score attacks are terrible for fighting games. I think we just all universally agreed. Dang, scores that are...
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Game with their scores, you know, just like...
This isn't the last one for me, but it's the one that pops up. It's when you finish, like, I want to say Silent Hill 2 or even 3. I think all of them. They give you a score.
I better withdraw.
Like
Oh,
numbers
yeah.
and score, but you never see it, and stuff like that. And I'm trying to think of the last time that there were points on the screen.
Ooh,
They
yeah.
don't have any value at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, not even as life collection. They're just there.
Yeah, they're just on the screen.
But I do remember a specific period of time where like game designer had to learn that you don't need to count a score anymore.
Right. You know, because at the time in a lot of arcade games, like the score was the point. You know, like your Pac-Mans and you know stuff like that, where
Right.
you know eventually yes you could get to a kill screen, but it wasn't intentional. It was just like we ran out of resources on you know the board. So you just die, but you know the point was to get a high score, you know, and like you know score attacks like DVK said, you know, putting your score against someone else's score, like oh you know what score, you know what's your high score, that was the thing, and then especially during the console age, like scores were still a thing because they were holdovers from those old arcade games where you would compare scores and whatnot, but there was really no point.
There's no point. They just added it because I think that it was kind of a big, like, at least in Japan, it was huge at the time. Scores that no one cared, scores that don't make any sense, that are arbitrary. I mean, completely not even a representation of the skill that, because a lot of times what score attacks surmount to is you found the one loop in the game where you can stay on the screen forever and get the max points.
Yeah.
There are so many score attacks where you can get the max score,
Yes.
especially in shmups. So
Yeah. And a lot of times it's putting your initials on, you know, the startup screen, you know, the game over screen or whatever, and you know, getting your initials at the top. And one game I can think of specifically that allowed you to do that was Outrun.
yes.
Outrun definitely allowed you to do that.
Yeah, Outrun's one where score doesn't make sense if you think about it.
Yeah.
'Cause you can take different
and it
paths.
wasn't really a score. It wasn't really a score per se. It was a time, and the time does factor into the game itself.
Yes.
So I can't really say that like that was pointless, but I will say one game I do remember playing, and it's a bad game, and you know, didn't know what games were back then as far as good or bad. They were just games, and some of them you just couldn't beat, and some of them, you know, you could get further at or could defeat. And some you had more fun at, and some you didn't. And this was a game that was terrible, and I didn't enjoy playing. But you know, I played it every so often. Good old Sword of Sodan on the Sega Genesis has a friggin' score.
Why?
And that game is right. Why? I don't know. No idea. But at the end, you know, these little monsters fly by the screen carrying little letters, and you know, maybe they'll carry your freaking initials and put them up on the screen on a high score for some reason. And yeah, I don't know why. That game is so bad. It's so bad. Oh yeah, man, that is terrible sound effects. Terrible music when it did have music. I mean, just, you know, cheese grater on your eardrums. Yeah. You know, it was.
I've been about that kind of right now. Like, it's kind of a thing where it's like bad video game music.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Spider-Man on the Genesis, legendary, terrible music. And you know what? There's a vibe to some of that stuff, man. There's a vibe.
Yeah. Do you like some chunky chips?
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna find it. Sonic Spinball, the options menu.
Ooh, yeah.
The
Just
Genesis
crunchy.
version of Double Dragon.
Ooh, yeah. The crunch is unbelievable on those,
Hello?
you know.
What brings you You're welcome
You know,
anytime.
just saltine crackers dried out in the desert crunch, you know.
Yeah, like and bringing out like the Sega that like FM twang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, dude. Oh, dude, that was so good. Kids nowadays, they don't understand because a lot of those games had like, first off, if they had multiple tracks while you were playing, you were lucky. A lot of those games had a 20-second track that would play the whole game, and you would just have to listen to that thing until you beat the game, and over and over and over and over.
And enjoy.
You know, now we have.
Of mine.
Yeah.
Uses stage music.
Yep.
Stage music 1.
Yep. Terrible. And maybe there's like an opening track for like the title screen, and maybe there's like a game over, you know, track. Like, and that was it, right? Like a lot of stuff nowadays. Oh, it's reactive music. You know, it's really long. You know, for stage music nowadays might be 15 minutes. It speeds up, it slows down, it adds instruments, takes it away depending on how you're doing, what's happening. You know, so it's not nearly as just like you're gonna listen to this dude bang on a Casio keyboard for the next 20 seconds. You know, or for the next hours, but in 20-second loops forever.
That goes in the other direction where it's just like, it's still not enjoyable, but now there's so much effort being put in.
Yeah.
They got a whole bunch of musicians in a room.
Oh,
They
yeah.
sit there recording all the different parts of this song for hours.
I hereby claim
Yeah,
this
And,
basin
yeah.
as my own.
like, all it does is it just, for me to hear like the first 5 seconds of it every time I run through the forest past these mobs.
Yes. In fact, Ocarina of Time has some of that, where you just like run through some places and the music starts to change and then it goes right back. And it's like, yep, okay. Glad you guys put in a bunch of effort on that one.
I hereby claim this basin
Well, I'm
as
thinking
my
of
own.
like Fallout and stuff where it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
rolling through the
Thanks for taking
wasteland.
care of that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, there's a guy. I don't see him. I can see pretty far.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's just some guy like stuck under the world.
The geometry got him. Yeah.
The geometry guy.
Yeah.
The shapes
man,
got
good
him.
old Knuckle. Yeah. You remember that like wonky ass geometry used to just be a fact of life in like the PS2 kind of era.
PS1,
you know,
PS2, jank,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
jank 3D geometry. You
That's
know.
the liminal factor. It's part of what gives them
Yeah.
just being that like barely constructed world.
Yeah, exactly. You know, now everything is, you know, we got our Unreal Engine 5.6 with megalights and, you know, nanite foliage. You know, every freaking leaf is fully shadowed and reacts with, you know, to the light and wind. I'm like, all right, man. Okay. You know, I remember if there was 3 dudes on the screen, 2 of them would be under it. You know, like.
My ambition cannot be stopped.
Yeah. I don't know.
None
There's just so much crazy stuff in gaming that has changed over the years, and you know, stuff we take for granted now, and you know, if you don't regularly go back and play some of that old stuff, it can surprise you, you know, with how like, Jesus Christ, we used to play this? Ow! You know? That's why I like to go back, you know, regularly to play some old school stuff and be like, okay, I'm still in touch with my roots. You know, I haven't lost sight of what
It's healthy.
gaming was and where it's, you know, where it's gone. Yeah. And
we will punish these fools for standing in the way of my vision. Officers, command as you like. Understood.
yeah.
Games. 'Cause I feel like that was kind
Through
of
the enemy line.
like, I feel like PS2 era technology, PS2 games, it gives you everything you need to make any kind of game.
Yeah.
Ambition cannot
Exactly.
be stopped.
Everything you need there. Everything after that has just been driving up the sliders on resolution.
Graphics, sound, yeah. The prettiness factor, presentation. Exactly. Yeah.
Cannot be
You're
stopped.
right.
And I've been encountering like, actually like the PS1 era when we like general 3D Like going back to like the infancy of this stuff, and just like things like jumping flash.
Oh, dude, I love that game. Yeah.
Knights into
Oh,
Okay.
classic.
Night,
you're never gonna see it.
you brought up a one
Oh,
that okay, so Nights into Dreams, right? I like the game. I do not understand how to play it yet.
Yeah, I mean, no one does.
No, what? No, there are people who I don't even know what does. Just to this day, no one really understands it. No, there's people.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. There's some
Enjoy
guys.
the freedom of flying on courses, on little like trick courses. It's a little Tony Hawkish, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's on tracks like a race track, and then as you go through the stage, you can let through little things or whatever the game wants you to do.
Exactly.
And then it puts you on a harder and harder and harder track.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing, though. That game. That's the thing about that game. It's like sometimes you just don't know where the track is, or you can't figure it out. And like I couldn't, and I was like, I haven't gone back to it. It's one of those games. I mean, there's lots of old games where I'll play it once and then I'll say I'll come back to this.
Yeah.
That's one of those games. That never happens to you. That's me all the time. It'll like live in the.
No. I'm saying you never come back to it. Like, yeah, that like you never come back. That never happens. It's gone.
Yeah.
There's no motivation unless you come back to that stuff. There's no scare box.
Yeah.
There's no draw.
Right.
Unless being in 3D.
Because Knights did pretty bad. Knights did pretty bad, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Well, I mean, it was on the Saturn.
It was on the Saturn.
And the Saturn did bad. So.
No, I mean, even in Japan it did bad. Like, Saturn was not small in Japan, but, like, I don't hear anyone say good things about
I don't know if it was like a
the music's fantastic.
success, but I do know it's generally been
Yeah, I mean, like, Knights is not... It's finally remembered. It's, you know, it's not a game that, you know, spawned a giant... It's not a game. But, it, you know, it didn't spawn a franchise. There was no... You know, there was nothing really. What the hell are you doing, dude?
Oh, so you're watching that?
There's
nothing to do. It's a cool, you know. I have to wait, so I had to do something. I don't know. I always enjoy that when I watch runs where people like just show off like little things you can do. Being stupid.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were watching.
yeah. I've been just quietly watching this absurd game. But,
let me pop in there.
yeah, good old Twitch. But yeah, it's one of those things where like, okay, yeah, we know of Knights, like it is at least those of us that grew up around the time. If you ask somebody, you know, nowadays, some kid, they wouldn't know what the hell Knights was. You know, they probably wouldn't know what the hell was Sega Saturn.
No, they wouldn't.
You know, but yeah, it was one of the few games on the Sega Saturn that existed, and you know, it is. Is it the flagship title? Because there was no real Sonic game. So
Knights
no.
was an experimental little. Somebody managed to snake some budget from somebody.
well, I remember during the time, you know, that they before it came out, like the demo units of the Sega Saturn, like Knights was what they were showing off on it, you know, in the stores, you know, in Montgomery Wards and Texas and shit.
For sure, because this was. Because I remember it was meant to sell the 3D controller.
Yes.
That came pretty late.
Wait, was it Knights? Wait, what? Was Knights not a launch title for the Saturn?
No. Nope.
No.
Nope.
Maybe it wasn't.
Clockwork Knight is, and that was a launch title.
Interesting. Maybe I didn't run into those demo, you know, Saturns until, you know, they had Knights on them at the time. Yeah.
speed that the lower thing is scrolling on your overlay, it just said Nasty Warriors for a good chunk.
Oh, nice, good.
And I'm like, yeah, Nasty Warriors.
It's my favorite, Nasty Warriors.
Oh my god. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, man. That's really funny. Jesus Christ.
So this is 6. You said this is the one that the world is stuck at?
Okay, so 6 I remember being very different. It's not one of my favorites, but it's Speedrun.com. There's one run up by Lagcom and some other person. No video. Just no video exists. So I'm sitting there trying, how the hell did they beat this game? Because I was literally stuck. I was playing easy mode. This game doesn't want you. I guess what this game wants you to do, and this is coming back to the whole difficulty thing, is it's like, no, we want you to go and fight this person first before you go and fight them. And I didn't understand that. So I'm sitting there like actually trying to, you know, by the way, I hate this map. Trying to like attack the leader, because like in the previous games, if you beat the leader, you take over their whole kingdom and all the territories they own. And in this game, that is not the case at all. At all. And so, yeah, I just was stuck. There's no video online. The one person who's beaten this game, they basically took hours and hours. And so I'm trying to beat this game in under an hour and 50 because it's the record and there's no video. So just kind of pressed. But yeah, this game 6 is definitely the odd man out. The strange. Yeah, it's a black sheep. It's it doesn't make like basically everybody is a normal person in this game. And it's like, I don't know if you guys played games where you like try out like different characters. You're like, man, this person sucks. This person sucks. This person sucks. That was this game. There's hundreds of bosses here, and I was like, I like to make a little tier list for games. Everyone was ass. It would just be me like, yep, this character is garbage. This character is garbage. Lubu's garbage. This character is garbage. Like everybody is bad in this game. It's a miserable experience. And then I found something cheap, so I'm doing that.
Look, that's the way it works. That's the way it works.
I use this ladder.
I guess that's how routing goes in a lot of these kind of games.
Yeah.
I like Dynasty. Yeah, so I was having that. That's why. That's when you guys were talking about like difficulty. I was like, why is Dynasty Warriors giving me such a hard time? No, and I looked it up, and apparently this game is like notoriously like people just stop playing it. Because on easy mode, you can't beat it. And you're supposed to use these cards and like build up your kingdom, and I'm like, but it's still ridiculous. Like, you have to find something cheap, which makes me, it feels like an older game in a Dynasty Warriors shell. It doesn't feel like a Dynasty Warriors game. Like, it's just borrowing the license, not the name, even though all the characters are here.
You're right, there's a bunch of dudes.
You're not mowing them like the lawn.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mowing them like a lot.
That's what I understand Dynasty Warriors to be.
You know what? That should be the official like subtitle for all the Dynasty Warriors. You know, Dynasty Warriors 43, mowing them like a lawn.
You're a successor to the lawnmower man.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's great. But yeah, DBK, this game, I've just been watching it. It's a bit of a clusterfuck.
It is a cluster. I literally have to send my officers to go back to their base, and thank God you can do that in this game. Otherwise, I just can't see what's going on the screen, and they get rid of the spawns, but I don't know how I feel about this game. Honestly, I'm just kind of playing it. I was pressed. I was like, it was one of those things where I saw it, and you're like, why is there no video that exists for this game, and why has no one beaten it? And I was just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't skip over it, so I spent the week like trying and trying. I did not record my playthrough because I was like, it was literally just me like slamming on the desk, and this game made me rage, which is rare.
Yeah. Dang, man. Yeah, this is pretty.
I guess they were trying to go for like some sort of realism with Dynasty Warriors, where like, yeah, every man has, like, even lieutenants do like absurd amounts of damage, and they're like, yeah, even the normal guy can like have a chance. And it's like, yeah, but that's not fun. It's not fun when the average, you know, Joe Schmo on the battlefield can take you out in 2 hits on easy mode. Like, I don't know. Do you not know who your audience was?
Right. Dynasty Warriors is a pure power fantasy. Like, that's the whole point, you know? Like, come on, man. It's ridiculous.
You know,
I don't get it. Oh.
Which then brings back to like difficulty challenge. Yeah, that's a question that you're asked. Like, you have to ask yourself when you're playing. Is this game even actually happening?
Yeah.
Or is it like inviting? Or what does it like? And with this game, like it seems to have like a duality to it, where you know, Dynasty Warriors, power fantasy. Yeah, power fantasy is the best way to
cannot be stopped.
So it's good, isn't trying to feel powerful.
Sure.
And
Yes.
And this is just like, this is like Power Nightmare. It's not necessarily challenging you, it's just inverting the power fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny about difficulty too, right? Because to bring it to that, this game on new plus mode, or just if you just start a new game, like I'm playing with the save with the continue, but you can only bring over certain things. So I said, okay, I'll bring over my weapons. This game wants you to like basically walk into a base and hide and like run away and attack enemies, which is like, okay, but is that difficult? Jesus Christ. Is that difficulty, or is that like just cheat? Basically this game wants you to cheese it. So I don't know, like, is cheesing difficulty? Because that's what this game wants you to do, which is weird. It's very different in that regard. It's like, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is cheesing a game, if you have to cheese a game, is it difficult, or is it just teaching you stupid methods to win?
Is it hard because it's challenging, or is it hard because
It's, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that kind of goes back to the whole, you know, Turok thing. Like, back in the day, cheesing a game was just like, oh, cool, you found some freaking way to like do that. Like, it wasn't seen as like cheating, or, you know, like, oh, really, dude, you're doing this type of stupid thing. Like, come on, man, only scrubs do that. Like, that wasn't the thing back then. It was like, oh, dude, I didn't know you could do that. That's cool, you know. And maybe I can finally beat the game, because beating games was, you know, was few and far between. It wasn't a given the way they are now, where I guarantee you, in most games nowadays, if you spend enough time in it, you'll just win.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get to the end and win the game, you know, as long as you can hit the buttons and move the sticks on the controller, right? So, you know, back then it was like, I don't know, man, you could just die at the first level and never get anywhere in a game, you know, depending on the game back then. So, like, cheesing a game? Hell yeah, I'm all about it. Like, everybody was just like, yeah, that's cool, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, man, that's a good, you know, that's teach me how to do that. Oh, man,
good strap,
come
bro.
over my place and show me, you know. Like, dude, can I come over to your house and, like, you know, maybe we can, like, you know, beat it together, like, I want to see how that's done.
Yeah.
That type of thing, right?
That definitely was a motivation for hanging out with people. Like, if I heard they had or beat a game, like, I think we all at least done that. Like, what? You have all the characters? Like, Pixar didn't happen.
it's the controller?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely seen as different now. But you got to remember, back then, there were not, outside of fighting games, which were specifically set up to be, player versus player. There were not a lot of player versus player games. The
Good point.
the first person shooter back then was basically Doom, and that was stuck on PC for the most part. And yes, there were Quake and yeah.
That really established
Yes. Yeah.
Because, I mean, you're right. There were a lot of multiplayer games where it's just like, Olympics, you play, now hand the controller to your buddy, where do you play?
Right. Where they were like Sonic and Tails. Right. Exactly.
Super Mario Brothers being a two-player
You're
game.
more trouble than you're worth.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of games had a little brother mode, maybe like Tails, Sonic 2 or something. But they weren't explicitly like, no, this is a game that is designed, to go, head to head, for the players. And so I think that kind of changed the dynamic of like, cheesing or cheating something, where like doing that nowadays, because so many games come out of the PvP sphere, if you will, like it's frowned upon, it's cheap, whatnot, because a lot of these things can be used in PvP matches, and we see this all the time in fighting games, where this guy is doing the infinite, he's doing the this is the thing, some busted shit that he's doing, that's not a real team that you're using, it's a scrub team, it's a ridiculous team, or whatever it may be, right? And so
Rainbow Six players spawn killing.
Yeah.
Spawn killing the other team, looking over like, what?
Yeah, exactly, right? It's this thing, this thing nowadays where your skill as a player directly translates into in PvE to your skill in PvP in a lot of ways. Like if you're not doing things in an honorable way, then you're a piece of shit. You're a trash player.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because now it's like, if you do that, you can be as long as you're going one below the best or cheapest strat, then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could still do a cheap strat. It just can't be the cheapest strat. You can be despicable, just not that despicable, apparently.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like the way that online chess works. I just watched a long video about cheating in chess, and it goes through the whole history of cheating in chess, and like, the big chess websites and apps, it's easy to just like, if you're playing chess on your laptop or on your desktop or whatever, you just have another monitor with, a chess program open that will tell you every single best move, for every position in the game.
I was watching a video about that, and some other person mentioned that a lot of people use that, but they said they know if people are using. I guess like top players know.
Well, it's not even so much that. The websites have algorithms that can detect. But the thing is, like, okay, let's say you don't pick the absolute best move for every position in a game. Let's say you pick your second best move, the third best move. What if you only use it when you really need it, one or two moves? How are they going to prove that? Out of an entire chess game, if you're picking, that's where it gets really tough, right? And so just like you said, in, I don't know, in Halo Infinite, if you're using bullets that auto home and give automatic headshots from across the map and you're flying and shit, okay, yeah, obviously you're a cheater. But maybe if you install a mod that gives you 10% more damage on all your guns. How many people are gonna pick up on that, right? You know,
The game that actually trusts. This is just
yes, yes.
you never trust the player.
Of course not. Of course not. It's a bad example, and I'm just saying, if it were possible, you know, how many people would pick up on, oh, that guy's doing 10% more damage, you know, on his guns in a big, I don't know how many people are gonna have fucking Halo Infinite now. That game's dead anyway, it doesn't matter, but it's like 16 people? Like, no one's gonna fucking pick that up unless you're a top-end player and you've been playing this particular person a lot, right? Like, you know, if you have that level of knowledge of the game. So, yeah, I think you make a really, really good point there, TBK, that, you know, cheating is, you know, if you keep it to the, you know, bare minimum.
Oh, that was Smilex. I didn't say anything about cheating.
Well, not cheating, but just like the cheap strategy.
Oh, the
right?
cheap strats,
The
yeah.
cheap strategy, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not using the absolute, oh, I just, you know, I fucking put you in a corner and hit you with an infinite, you know, like, okay, you know, that's a little too obvious. But you know, if you do something that might be considered underhanded a few times to get an advantage, okay, you know.
There's a lot of people. Because that's where you get stuff like, oh, but if
Ambition cannot be stopped.
it's an infinite, and I lose it, and then someone comes at you with, then don't get hit by that.
Yeah.
Don't be there
Yes.
as an answer.
Yeah.
And,
I mean,
that's basically like that wall. You want to climb this wall? And
yeah.
is this the kind of game you want to play?
Right.
Where
And
that happens to you on the regular and no one bats an eye.
And no one bats an eye, exactly. I remember a money match a while back, and I forget which version of Smash Brothers the Ice Climbers have a freaking infinite, you know, between the two of them. You know, with like their throw and like the stupid, you know, icicles they can throw at you or whatever. Like there's an infinite in, what is it, Brawl or one of them. And I remember a money match back then between, you know, two top-end players, and one of them picks Ice Climbers and gets the other guy in the infinite, and the other guy literally just stands up, you know, from his chair and like gets in the other guy's face and just starts screaming at him until he drops the combo, right? Like every time that guy would start that fucking infinite, he would just get up and scream at the top of his lungs in his face until the combo was dropped to give himself a chance. And it was posted in like, oh, you know, these you know, FGC players, you know, Smash Brothers players, you know, rage and, you know, rage quit and all this stuff. But I'm like, okay, but this is a money match, and this man is using like the most ridiculous, cheapest, you know, broken strategy there is. Is that even fair? You know, and are we really ragging on this guy for trying to even the odds, even though in a normal situation this would be seen as super scummy, right? So I like it. I'm like, okay, you know, when you see it at first, there's a visceral reaction like, whoa, this guy's such an asshole, what is he doing? But then you realize, like, no, he's getting, you know, it's a money match, and this dude is, you know, doing some real fucking, he's sliming him out.
I mean, we're metagaming, because that's metagaming.
Yeah, that's
like,
metagaming, yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
It is.
It's like when I really started playing fighting
cannot be
games,
stopped.
and I realized this was when I don't know if you guys know NASA. I was playing NASA and something.
Yeah.
I know you guys know NASA, but like I'm playing in something, and I realize he's listening to my input.
Yeah.
I have, like, you gotta buffer in. I was real bad with inputs then, so it's like you could hear my Dragon Punch before it comes out.
Right. Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
all the stuff that you're not thinking about
Mm-hmm.
because we're in the game.
Right, right,
That's
right.
that's like an
strength.
extension
This
of
may
that.
take some
It's
doing.
like, this guy has this guaranteed combo that's gonna kill me if I make him drop it. What's the
Mm-hmm.
yo mama joke that'll get him to flinch?
In the heat of
Mm-hmm.
battle, I allowed myself to be drawn into the
Exactly,
light.
exactly. I mean, it's just like old split screen games. Man, stop screen looking, stop screen looking. You know, stop looking at my screen to see where I am, man. You know?
Have you seen pictures of like people set up for that where they like cover themselves in
Vision
cardboard?
cannot be stopped.
Yeah. I've seen some of that stuff, man. It's
Oh, the
wild.
blanket on the arcade stick with the with the blanket on top definitely is a bit much. Like, why does no one stop this? Can we?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I saw a picture of a dude with his monitor nearly 180 flat on the ground. And it was just like 2 degrees of angle, and he is leaning back
Yeah.
to get his view on this. And he's just playing like this. Playing like Unreal Tournament.
Yeah.
Which, like,
It's
Unreal
crazy.
Tournament is something that's a game that runs on the fence.
Yes. It's the movement so fast in that game. You know, a split second, like you said, could change. You know, everything. Yeah. It's crazy. But yeah. Damn, I can't find an image of this, but it was. I was looking at like hiding your inputs. I remember. I want to say it was Edward Snowden used to have this like ridiculous sweater that he used to wear whenever he was, you know, using his computer when he's, you know, Russia, wherever the hell, you know, he was basically incarcerated at effectively, wherever the hell they had him at. And this thing was, it was like a hoodie. He would have it completely over the monitor, and like, you know, it would just come out to where it was just his eyeballs that could see into it. He's completely covered, so they couldn't see anything. Like that's what I'm thinking of. You know, he basically made his own little fabric pod.
Oh my god, it's a bike shirt.
Right. Exactly. But yeah.
What is going on the screen right now? Like, I think I played up to like Dynasty Warriors 4.
We will punish
Or
these
something
fools
like
for
that.
standing in the way of my vision.
And I don't know, this is like Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Is that what they want you to do to
That
play
is.
the game? Is to like reenact like
Basically,
Journey to the
they
West,
want you to,
whatever?
but also like, so it's strange, right? Because so Empires 4 is interesting because it starts from the start of time. So if you just let the game play itself, generally things will end up like they do. But this one has period pieces. But if it's period pieces, it should end at a certain point. Like, it should just be like, okay, well, you know, the Yellow Turban Army has been defeated, so let's just end the scenario because history needs to play out. But everything still ends up being like a what if scenario. So it doesn't really make any sense. Like, I have to capture all of China. Okay, so then that means the rest of the events of China don't happen as far as I'm like what? So I don't know. I don't pay too much attention to the storyline in Dynasty Warrior games anymore.
Yeah. Oh man, I
Well, I
should be
mean,
reading.
China just kind of has the one story, right? It's just a Journey to the West again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Anybody
ambition
play
cannot be
Wukong?
stopped.
I need to play
That's
Wukong.
the big one. I need to.
Space as my own.
You know, you're a monkey king.
Such
You know.
daring! I am
Like, you know, just you're a monkey
We're
king.
going west.
We're going west, man. We're going west.
They got hamburgers.
I heard so. You know, first star on the right, straight on till morning. Like, what are we doing here? I should be paying attention to what Milky Cow is putting in here. He's dropping some interesting knowledge and such. I haven't even been reading.
You were just talking about like it looks goofy, but you know that's why we know why they hide their inputs, but it does look goofy. They should bring back head-to-head stuff though in arcades. Like you can't see or hear the other person, and like if the other person doesn't want to shake your hand or give you a GG, then that's fine. You know, just let him get off the stage and let him be salty.
No, the cross tabs
Oh, of course.
side tabs. It's like, yeah, you know what? I don't even want to look at the guy.
Yep.
Especially if I just got thrown to death.
Right.
It's like I respect that. I respect your salt. Tell me how great I am, and
Was that a Street Fighter 2 reference or a Street Fighter 6 reference? Who knows? The answer is yes.
sub-hour. But yeah, no, it's.
Yeah.
What are some of the hardest games? This is up there on my list. This is up there as one of the hardest games I've ever played, for sure.
So here's the question: when we're talking about hardest games, are we talking about the hardest mode of?
So I think there's conditions that have to be set. Like it has to be new game, because anything new game plus, you're already going in like this is new game plus. Like I'm just doing this because it's interesting.
Sure. But I'm talking about old school games where like you could adjust certain aspects of the game.
Like the difficulty?
Well, yeah, the difficulty, but you know, more specifically, like the game I'm thinking of is again Battle Squadron on the Sega Genesis, where you can specify how fast the enemies are, how many enemies there are, and how many bullets there could be on the screen, and like I'm pretty damn sure if you turn all of those things up, the game becomes physically impossible to beat. Like I don't think that you can.
Well, so what's the hardest? What are some other things that I'm trying to think of games that have that? Like SimCity, you mean? Like with random town destruction? Because there's some games that are like it's hard to like look at it as a difficulty way, especially like simulation games. But like SimCity is one of those games where I turned off random hazards because otherwise you just get a UFO or like a random earthquake or fire, and you can't progress in the game.
Yeah. Here's one that's a good question for you. In Darius 2, or Sega Genesis, like it gives you the option of picking Proco Jr. or Tiet Young, and if you, as you know, whichever pilot for the
that's a good point.
And whichever one you pick, like if you pick Proco Jr., you don't start with lasers. You know, your main gun is turned down a level, but it's not like easy mode, hard mode. It's
just a character.
Yeah,
I think when it comes to just a character, if you look at what they've provided for your default in the game, if you're honestly comparing, there's a difference between giving yourself a challenge by picking it up, but giving yourself just the default of what the game allows you to do, then that has to be taken into consideration. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that to me it's easier because you just pick the better character, you'll have an easier time.
Right.
Now the question is things like the Konami code, which are like literally advertised being like, is that fair? Like the game has like a code that allows you, because you know GTA has that too, or all the old Konami games have that. Like is that considered cheating, or is that considered giving or removing a challenge?
I mean, the code isn't just sitting on the screen. you know, for you to activate. You know, it is something that you have to know. It is something technically secretive. You know, it's there as a hidden part of the game. You know, it is not a normal part of the game. If you knew nothing about it, you just started up. You know, it's something you do have to have prior knowledge of, and you know, you have to input it in a way that's, you know, that like debug mode in Sonic is not, you know, it's right. That's not how you know they intend for you to beat the game, by just screen wrapping the, you know, every level in debug mode. But you know, it's kind of one of those things. So that's what I'm saying. Like in certain games, like Hellfire, for instance,
Oh, gosh.
on the hardest difficulty. I mean, literally, if you beat that game on the hardest difficulty, it just comes up with a message from the developers being like, so how did you beat this? What did you use, like a Game Genie? Did you, you know, use a controller with turbo? How did you do it? You know, because the difficulty level is nigh impossible. In a game like Battle Squadron, I'm almost certain it's actually impossible to beat. I mean, I tried it even with like, you know, emulators and going frame by frame.
I remember.
You know, yeah, and on the highest level, it's just like, so what? You die regardless. Like, there's nothing that you can do. Your ship doesn't move fast enough. There's too many bullets on the screen. There's no way you can dodge them. Yeah, it's... So, you know, I think there are some physically impossible games